Hey everybody, Ace Channel here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to another episode of MetroMania. MetroMania is a super simple series to get your head around. Literally, the Pokemon are in double battles, they can only use Metronome, and we're here to find out who goes to the top and becomes the MetroMania Champion. If you're already a fan of MetroMania and you can't wait for more, hit that like button, show me you enjoy this series. Let's go for 2,000 likes today. We probably won't do it, but let's try, eh? And of course, hit subscribe if you haven't already so that you never miss an episode of this series. We're right at the start, and it's only going to get better. And as always, use code ACE to save yourself some money on the lovely G Fuel. Oh, PewDiePie's Lingonberry today. Or code ACE, though, will get you some money off and helps the channel, so do that. Now, we're going to get into the battles in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at those beautiful Season 8 brackets. So last week, we said goodbye to Solrock and Lunatone. The dynamic day and night duo could not handle Cofragrigus and Runerigus, who, with that ghost typing, are going to be really mean going forward. Immunity to normal type moves and fighting type moves tend to give people a little bit of an edge in these kinds of contests, but now we're going to find out their opponents in the quarterfinals as Glalie Froslass take on both forms of Toxtricity. Toxtricity is difficult to say, by the way, so here's everybody entering the battlefield. We're ready, we're raring to go. I'm really excited for this one because these are two great teams. All the Pokemon in this battle look absolutely amazing, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the different kind of Pokemon styles work together with, you know, Froslass being kind of a fast special attacker. Even saying that, though, its special attack is the same as Glalie's. Glalie's got that all-round thing going on where it's got all even stats. They're all base 80, which is quite interesting. Muddy Water, though, from Glalie to start things off, which is going to hit both its opponents for some water-type neutral damage, and that is going to do a decent chunk of damage there. Gets the accuracy drop on the amped Toxtricity, but not on the low-key Toxtricity. That's, you know, worth noting for later on. Stomping Tantrum, though, from low-key Toxtricity onto Glalie there for a great chunk of damage as well. If you're wondering about abilities, both forms of Toxtricity, of course, have the ability Punk Rock. Here's Charge Beam, though, from the amped Toxtricity onto Froslass there for some same type attack bonus damage. Great chunk of damage there, and gets the special attack increase from that Charge Beam. So Punk Rock increases the power of sound-based moves used by Toxtricity by 30% and reduces the damage taken by sound-based moves for Toxtricity by 50%, so protects it a little bit. Froslass is going to bust out a Flare Blitz, although its attack is base 80. Of course, the interesting thing is Froslass and Toxtricity are quite similar in terms of defense. They both have 70 base defense, 70 base special defense, but Toxtricity has 5 base more HP. Giga Impact, though, from Glalie. I bet this Toxtricity is glad that this is not a Mega Glalie with the old Refrigerate ability. Amp Toxtricity, though, is going to go for Healing Wish, and that is going to fail, so it's over to low-key form. Glalie, of course, has Inner Focus and therefore cannot flinch. And Froslass, here's Weather Ball from low-key Toxtricity onto... Is it on Froslass or is it on Glalie? It's on Glalie there for a little bit more chip damage on the big boy. Froslass, of course, has Snow Cloak, which means that its evasiveness goes up by 1 stage if Hail is in effect, which, of course, Hail would benefit the Ice-type Froslass and Glalie team since they're immune to it, but their opponents would take damage from it. So that would be a plus if they could set Hail up, I should say. There's Assurance, which is doing a little bit of damage there to low-key Toxtricity. Of course, Glalie has to recharge after that Giga Impact. Here's a Vacuum Wave. Which Pokemon is it on? It's on Glalie, which is super effective. If that would have been on Froslass, it would have been Froslass would have been immune to that. So a bit of a misfire there. Well, not a misfire, a bit of bad luck for the Froslass team, I should say. I was going to say it's bad luck for the Toxtricity, but it's good luck for them because they hit the right target. Changes to special defense and defense switched between Amp Toxtricity there and Froslass, I believe. Here comes Froslass, though, firing back. What's it going to do here? Going to go for Horn Attack on which of the Toxtricity are onto the Amp form, bringing it right down into the danger zone there. Now, if you are interested, or if you're wondering why we're not using hidden abilities in Metromania at the moment, Froslass is the exact reason. Hurricane misses from Glalie, which would have been not very effective anyway. Oh, Explosion from low-key Toxtricity, though. Is that a good idea? I don't know if that's a good idea at all. In fact, it doesn't affect Froslass, so no damage there. Takes out Amped form and itself, so Froslass and Glalie win the first point. Down goes Amped form, low-key form's already gone down. That's incredible. So, and Glalie survived it, which was amazing. So it's 1-0 to Froslass and Glalie, which I didn't see coming. I was talking about abilities, why we don't use hidden abilities. Froslass is the reason. Froslass's hidden ability is Cursed Body, which, as we've seen with Gengar in the past, it ruins Metronome battles. So that's why we use the primary ability from now on in Metromania. so that things like that don't happen. We did the same with Dragapult, the winner of the previous season. Imagine if it had Cursed Body, would have been an even bigger win. There's the special attack dropping. Not a great play there, dropping your own special attack harshly on the first turn, especially when you're a bit of a special attacker. Here's a Power Whip from Glalie, another grass type move, which isn't going to do much damage. It did a bit of damage there, a bit of chip damage to Amped Toxtricity, but not a lot. Here comes low-key form of Toxtricity though. What's it going to do here? It's going to go for Zen Headbutt. Onto which Pokemon? Onto Froslass there. Let's see how much damage this does. Great chunk of damage there onto Froslass. Now over to Amp form. What will it do? It's going to go for Nasty Plot and increase its special attack, I should say, by 2 stages. My word. And the reason we don't use secondary abilities is simply because not all Pokemon have secondary abilities. So it'd be unfair, for example, for us to give Froslass Snow Cloak, which is its primary ability, because it only has a primary ability and a hidden ability, and then be like, well, let's give minus to the Toxtricity team, or plus, you know, whichever one they can have. That'd just be silly. So we go with primary ability. So I hope that clears that up. Octazooka, though, on low-key Toxtricity doesn't get the accuracy drop there, luckily for it. His Stun Spore doesn't affect low-key Toxtricity. Over to Toxtricity Amp form. What will it do here? The Yellow Peril is going to go for Smackdown, which will be a super effective rock-type move there on Froslass. There's the underside of Froslass for you. Never thought I'd see that. And that does a decent chunk of damage to Froslass there. Over to the low-key Toxtricity, who goes for Play Rough, which is a fairy-type move for some neutral damage on Froslass. It's living on 2 hit points, but it's barely in this contest right now. It needs a miracle if it wants to survive the next turn. But over to Froslass, who is the fastest thing on the field at 110 base speed. What's it going to do with its last potential turn? Goes for Ancient Power, maybe hoping to get an Ancient Power boost if it survives. It does a little bit of chip damage there to Toxtricity because the special attack drop is really affecting Froslass here. Glalie's going to go for a Brutal Swing, which is going to take its partner out because it hits all Pokemon on the field. So a little bit of chip damage to both Toxtricity, but a super effective hit on Froslass, and Froslass goes down, which is a little bit of a mistake there by Glalie because it's now up against 2 Toxtricity, which is a place it doesn't want to be. Although Amp Form Toxtricity goes for Swallow, which is a bit of a mistake right there. Wasted turn. Over to Low-Key Toxtricity, who goes for Soft Boiled. Oh, and that is a great play right there because that's going to increase its HP by 50% of maximum, which in this case will put it at maximum HP once more. So Glalie is in a difficult position, or it is at max HP though right now. So maybe it's not in such a bad position. It all depends on the next couple of turns, I guess. Here comes Glalie, though, who is going to fire off a Thunderfang, which is not very effective on the electric-type low-key Toxtricity there, but does chip off a bit of that max HP that it was sitting pretty with just now. Over to low-key Toxtricity, Speak of the Devil, goes for Swords Dance, increasing its attack stat by 2 stages. That is dangerous territory for Glalie right now. It's in a difficult situation. You've got a +2 special attack Toxtricity in the form of Amped Form and a +2 attack Toxtricity in the form of low-key form. Here's Sand Tomb, though, which, looking for Glalie, is not a physical move, but it does do a decent chunk of damage with that critical hit and will continue to damage Glalie at the end of each turn, as we're seeing here. That's very unfortunate for Glalie right there. That's not a position that Glalie wants to be in at all. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. It could really use an Earthquake or something like that. That would deal massive damage. That would devastate the Toxtricity side. Goes for Dragon Rush. That is avoided by Amp Toxtricity. So over to low-key Toxtricity. What will it do? Going to go for Happy Hour, feeling quite confident. And they've not even got a point yet. They're still showing 0 on the scoreboard, but it's enough to get caught up in the happy atmosphere there. So here's Perish Song, though. Oh, that's not a good idea, I don't think. Actually, it might be a good idea, because I think in the case of Perish Song, I'm pretty sure the slowest Pokemon faints last, and the slowest Pokemon at the moment are both the Toxtricity. So that could work. That could very much work in the Toxtricity team's favor. I mean, it all depends on Glalie. If Glalie can survive these 3 turns, it's got 3 turns now, basically, to land 2 killing blows. So it's looking difficult for Glalie. Goes for Tickle. Not a great play right there. Onto the Amped Form Toxtricity. Amped Form's attack drops by a stage. Its defense drops by a stage. But Glalie needs to be making knockouts right now, because here comes Metal Burst. It is going to fail, though, from the Amp Form Toxtricity over to low-key form, but they just need to bide their time at the moment. Here's a Wing Attack from low-key Toxtricity with that +2 attack, though, for a huge chunk of damage there. There's the Sand Tomb. That's going to be enough to put Glalie in the danger zone. I know you can't see it on screen because of my stupid little stylistic way of doing the layout, but you heard the noise. under the sound of me, that was the alert to say that this Glalie is in the danger zone. Glalie is going to go for Vacuum Wave. It's going to be resisted by the Poison type and Toxtricity there, so not a lot of damage at all. Over to low-key form Toxtricity, who must be feeling very, very confident. Goes for Cotton Guard, just wasting time at this point. Isn't even bothered. It's considering its team safe from being removed from the competition. I mean, that Cotton Guard will protect that Toxtricity from taking any real damage, significant damage from Glalie. Baton Pass does fail from Amp Toxtricity, and there is the Sand Tomb. Down goes Glalie. It's now 1-1. Anybody's game right now. Glalie and Froslass are no longer safe from elimination. They could be eliminated in this round if Toxtricity can do what they did in the last battle, and if Glalie potentially makes another mistake. It's interesting that both these Pokemon have earned their point because one of the members of their other team made a mistake. Here's Scary Face though from Froslass onto the Amp Toxtricity there for a harsh speed drop. So Amp Toxtricity is now the slowest thing on the field. Here comes Bone Rush from Glalie though. Bone Rush, which is 4 times effective. It's Toxtricity's Kryptonite ground type moves. There's 1 hit. There's 2 hits. Oh my, it's going for a 3rd hit. Oh my, down goes low-key Toxtricity on the first turn. It didn't get to move. Oh my goodness, that was a power play if ever I've seen one from Glalie. That was incredible. Over to Toxtricity Amp Form, who goes for Trick Room though, which is a fantastic play. That might have just made itself the fastest thing on the field right now, because it was the slowest. It's basically the equivalent of like +2 speed now, because it's -2 speed under Trick Room. I think it's now, yes, it's faster than Froslass, which means Froslass is now the slowest thing on the field. Here's Sludge though from Amp Toxtricity, which is Stab as well. Going to do a great chunk of damage there too. Glalie doesn't get the poison though. Suddenly, it's not as clean-cut a victory for, well, I should say potential victory for Glalie, because this could go either way right now. There's the Dragon Breath. Was it Dragon Breath? I'm pretty sure it was Dragon Breath. It might be Dragon Pulse. I missed it. I'm so sorry. Here's Ingrain, though, from Froslass. Froslass is not playing about. It says, if you want to take me down, I'm going to try and keep restoring my HP, which is not a bad shout, because, you know, Froslass isn't the bulkiest of Pokemon. I know it's kind of close. It's 10 base power less in defense and special defense than Glalie, but also in HP as well. Future Sight, though, from Toxtricity, targeting that Froslass. That could do some decent damage. Over to Glalie right now. What's Glalie going to do here? Can't be too confident here. Goes for Gear Up. It does fail, and it's mistakes like that that are going to give Toxtricity a victory in this battle. That's what Toxtricity needs. It needs this team to make mistakes. But Aqua Ring, oh my god, Froslass is going for absolute healing prowess. It's already got Ingrain, and it now has Aqua Ring, so it's going to get 2 heals after every bit of damage it takes. My word. Well, I'd say every bit of damage it takes. Raw fails from Toxtricity. Big mistake there. After each turn, at the end of each turn, if it takes any damage. Here's Night Slash from Glalie. Potential to be a critical hit on that increased critical hit ratio from Night Slash. Doesn't get the crit, though. So Amped is very lucky there. Over to Froslass. What's going to do? Going to go for Charge and increase its special defense. That's not a bad play there, because it is due to be taking a Future Sight attack, so smart play right there. Up goes its special defense by 1 stage. Toxtricity really needs to take advantage of this speed advantage it has while Trick Room is in effect. What's it going to do, though? It's getting itself ready. Goes for Sludge once again. I mean, if it works, go for it. It did a decent chunk of damage last time. Huge damage there to Glalie. What a high roll. Doesn't get the poison, though, but Glalie is in a bit of danger right now as it goes for Bolt Beak, which won't be... It'll only be 70 base power. It won't be powered up because it didn't go first. It brings Toxtricity Amp's form down to less than half its max HP, but Toxtricity's still in a good position here. Here's the best animation in Sword and Shield. Double Kick. The standard bearer for all moves. Double Kick. Oh, I love when we get to see that in Metromania. There's the Future Sight attack on Froslass, but never mind about Future Sight and the amount of damage it did and the amount of healing that Froslass is about to get from Ingrain and Aqua Ring. We just saw Double Kick, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, that is the move that every move's animation and the quality of an entire game is based on. Double Kick, don't forget it. Here comes Froslass, though. What will it do here? I hope it uses Double Kick again. Here's Play Rough. It's not going to be very effective. Should have gone for Double Kick. On to Toxicity Amp Form. Yes, I know that wouldn't have been very effective either. Don't you worry. I know what's going on. Barely. Here's Glalie, though, who goes for Quick Attack, which is going to be a bit of neutral damage onto Toxicity. Toxicity is in the danger zone, but it will have an opportunity to move. What's it going to do here? It's going to go for Flash Cannon, which is super effective, so it could well take out one of its opponents. Oh, that special defense increase paying dividends for Froslass. I don't think it would have killed even with the special defense increase on Froslass, but that healing is just really scuppering Toxtricity right now. The next turn, my word, what's going to happen? It could go either way, but I think Toxtricity's in a bit of danger right now. I don't like to write people out too soon, but here's Power Trip from Froslass. How much damage will that do to Glalie? It's... to Glalie, to Toxtricity, I should say. I was about to say it's enough to take it out, but Toxtricity is living. Glalie, though, with Leaf Storm, which is going to be not very effective, but with that low HP, Toxtricity Amp Form goes down. Glalie and Froslass are going through to the quarterfinals to take on Runerigus and Cofragrigus. What an absolute barnstormer of a battle that was. Honestly, with how fragile Froslass is, I didn't think this would be as clean-cut as it was. Especially after the first round, where I had myself thinking Toxtricity only really lost because it gave up and used Explosion. But then in that third round, with that Bone Rush on the first turn by Glalie, oh my word, these two definitely deserve to go through to the next round. So they're going to be in the quarterfinals, facing Cofragrigus and Runerigus, which Cofragrigus and Runerigus versus Froslass and Glalie is like an absolute dream match that I'm already super hyped for, so I can't wait. Oh, and as always, make sure you let me know down in the comments who you're rooting for. What team are you rooting for? Because I want to see if it changes as the competition goes forth. And don't forget to tune in next week, because Braviary and Mandibuzz are going to be taking on Drampa and Turtonator, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And that, of course, will do it for another episode of Metromania. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to share the video with a friend. If you'd like to support the channel like these lovely people down here, you can pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrainerLiam. And, of course, use code ACE for money off G Fuel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.